Hello, everyone. I hope your April holidays are off to a good start. Now, 3 weeks ago, I had the privilege of attending a meeting for remote learning methodologies. And I thought that the best way to give this report is remotely. I am going to take you through the training, what we learned on that day. It was a full day seminar that had 3 sessions, but I'm going to condense this into a video that is not more than 20 minutes. So I pray that you're going to, or I'm asking you to stay with me until the end as we challenge ourselves so that we can initiate remote learning in our school for the sake of our students. Now I'll get right into the training by sharing my screen. So we have Nairobi Road Secondary School Remote Learning Methodologies, presented by Christine. Now, what is remote learning? Like what we are doing now, this is remote learning. If we take that I am the teacher, you are the learner, you'll access this material at different times, and I am going to send it to the WhatsApp group, so it means that you have to be online to access this material. Teaching and learning that takes place where teachers and learners are not in the same location, or where learners participate in learning the same content, but at different times. That is what we call remote learning. Now, what are the objectives of this training? One thing we need to realize, or I believe that we have realized by now, is that all our learners in our secondary schools currently, they are all digital natives. So it means that they were born in the digital era. And that means that we as teachers, we have to step up our awareness of technology so that we can be able to make the teaching and learning process more relevant to the modern needs. And that is why there's someone who said that technology will never replace teachers, but teachers who use technology will replace those who don't, or rather teachers who don't use technology will be replaced by those who use technology. Now, before we go to the objectives, the learning strategy that we adopt, especially in remote learning, we call it the KWL. KWL is an acronym for the first one, the first letter K is no. So what do the learners know? If this training was taking place in real time, that is if it was live, like for example, I sent a Zoom link and told you that at certain time at 7 p.m. I'm going to be presenting a Zoom lesson on remote learning methodologies. So what I would do is that I would first start asking you to tell me what you know. Then I would tell you to tell me, W is for want to know, what do the learners want to know about remote learning. Then at the end of the session, we shall look at what the learners have learned. That is the L. L is for learned. So the objectives of remote learning training, they include to explain the concept of remote learning. I believe I've explained that. To describe suitable modes of teaching and learning in remote learning. Remote learning is different from the normal classroom learning, and it is also different from ICT integration in learning, the learning and teaching process. Then also access and use of digital content for the purposes of teaching and learning. Where do you access this digital content? How do you use it? Then the trainee should be able to prepare digital content for teaching and learning. Then use of suitable modes of delivery in remote learning. Those are the objectives. Now, who are the stakeholders in remote learning? The stakeholders include, first of all, we have the TSC, who is our employer. I would advise you to go through the TSC ICT policy 2020, and that is, it spells out the expectations of the TSC as far as ICT integration in schools is concerned. Then we have Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education provides the infrastructure. We have the ICTA, that is the ICT authority. We have the KICD. KICD is instrumental when it comes to digital content. We have Semester, especially something to do with methodologies. We have the head of the institution, who through the BOM will provide the infrastructure that is needed for remote learning. Then we have teachers and ICT champions. Then also we have the ICT champions. For example, I am an ICT champion in our school. So in this case, my role is to like attend these trainings and also give feedback. Then we have parents. Parents are the ones who are going to provide the infrastructure that is needed for remote learning in the home. For example, the gadgets that are going to be used, the internet in form of bundles. Then we have the learners who are the beneficiaries. Delivery modes of remote learning. This ensures that the learners and teachers stay connected and engaged. They include audio, radio lessons, KBC, English service. They have radio lessons for various subjects. We have audio visual, for example, YouTube videos and other videos. We have EduTV. EduTV is run by the KICD. Then we have learning management systems. For example, the Office 365. Your TSC email allows you to access the Office 365, which is a premium service, and it allows you to, for example, call for meetings using Teams, make learning material, like for example, using Excel, using PowerPoint, using Microsoft Word and all that. Then we have the Google Classroom. This is also a meeting forum. We have Microsoft Teams. It's also a meeting forum. Then we have mobile-based learning. For example, the WhatsApp. Now, we cannot talk about remote learning without talking about cybersecurity, that is online safety and security. If you are online, then there is always some risk that someone is going to try to get into you. And we usually say that online security starts with the individual. It starts with you. For example, how many of us right now have their Bluetooth on? You know, I want to challenge you one time. You go to a public place. When you're in a public place, just put on your Bluetooth, switch on your Bluetooth, and then scan around. You realize that so many people are walking around with open Bluetooths, and this Bluetooth, they are not using. This Bluetooth, they have not even changed the name. So, for example, me, I use a Samsung. So if it is my Samsung, it is just reading Samsung and even the make of the Samsung. So you are telling everyone that there is a phone of this make around this place. Sometimes we even use Bluetooth and we are on public Wi-Fi at the same time. So that means that it's just like when you get to the house and you forget to lock the door. That is how some of these online scams, that is how some of these online crimes, that is how they get to us. Another very good example of safety begins with you, online security begins with you. We usually access our pay slips through TPay, and sometimes we need to print the pay slip for whatever reason. So you go to a cyber, or we usually go to a cyber, then we give out our TSC number, then I think the password. Then we don't even bother to change the password. You see, you need to be able to change that password immediately. If, in fact, even before, as the payslip is printing, you should actually be in the process of changing that password, because you never know who that person, who is in the cyber, you never know what they are doing. Then there's this feature by Safaricom. Do you suspect someone is trying to swap your line? So you are supposed to dial *100 *100 hash. And this one is so as to whitelist your number to make sure that your SIM cannot be swapped unless someone goes to the customer care. Because like we are witnessing a lot of these SIM swaps where someone changes where someone actually impersonates someone and using their SIM card, and they start now asking for money from the friends of this particular person. And it is actually something that is very widespread today. We also have home Wi-Fi. Most of us, I know we have home Wi-Fi at home. And I don't know whether we usually tell our children that that home Wi-Fi is for use within the home by the people who belong to that home, even visitors. I don't think they should be allowed to get, depending on which visitor it is, I don't think they should be allowed to get some of these facilities, like for example, the Wi-Fi, because immediately you give someone your Wi-Fi, then you're giving someone a key to enter into your online space. That is, if you give them your password, you're giving them the key to enter into your online space. So, and now we see when we talk about online learning, we are talking about children. And these children As they are learning online, they are exposed to all manner of threats and security risks while they are online. Another example of security begins with you is Telegram. Those of us who are on Telegram, if you go to Telegram, I'm opening my Telegram right now. If you go to Telegram, there is a place or there is a feature where we have people nearby. And if you turn on your location so that you can be able to see the people nearby, like now I'm doing that. I want to show you what I see. Let me stop sharing my screen for a while. So we have the people nearby. I'll show you what mine is bringing. I've turned on my location. It's usually off. So you can see the people nearby. So it's giving me a list of people nearby. And we have 500 meters away, 1 kilometer away, 2 kilometers away. These are people I don't even know, 2 kilometers away, 3 kilometers away, 3 kilometers away. All these are people. I can be able to access their location and I don't even know them, okay? But the problem is they are on Telegram, they are online, and they have turned on their location. That is how they are discoverable. So it means that there are many ways in which we need to be aware of how we use this, of how we use the internet and how we use the devices to access the internet. And it is very important that we pass this information even to our learners. So when you talk about online security, as we engage our learners online, they are at risk. And these risks include grooming. We have sexual abuse, cyberbullying, cyber stalking, identity theft, illegal and inappropriate behavior, pornography, spending too much time on the internet, illegal downloads, home security breaches, e.g. hacking through the home Wi-Fi and the like. So now, before you begin online learning or before you begin remote learning with your students, first of all, you should ask yourself, how safe are your devices, e.g. phone, tablet, laptop? Like, is your Bluetooth on? Because if you turn the Bluetooth on, is your Bluetooth on or off? If you turn your Bluetooth on, then the kind of device you're using might be discoverable, especially if you have not changed the name. How are the security settings on your accounts? Whether we have social media, Google accounts, Office 365, like now WhatsApp, they usually have a feature. It's on WhatsApp, it's also on Facebook. We also have it on, in fact, most of the social media. So on your WhatsApp, let me stop sharing my screen, stop share. So on your WhatsApp, there are these 3 dots. So you tap the dots, then it's going to give you a drop-down menu. So that drop-down menu, you look for settings. Then after you go to the settings, the very first one up there, it reads account. So account, we have number 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4, we have the 2-factor verification. It is not very visible, but we have the two-step verification. So that 2-step verification, you should turn it on, like mine is on. So what happens is that this 2-step verification, it usually helps you to, or it usually helps to make your phone safe or to make your WhatsApp account safe so that it is not hacked. So the question is, do your children and students know how to be safe online? And 8 tips to stay safe online. Be nice to people online. Don't start wars online. Take care about what you share. Privacy has power. The less people know about you online, the less it is likely that you're going to have security breaches. Keep personal information private. Now, most of this is about especially, your phone number, your children, the people they engage with online. Some of them, They pretend to be their friends, but all they want is to find out, what do your parents do? Where do your parents work? What kind of car do your parents drive? Where do you stay? Such things. That is personal information, and it should be kept private. Check your privacy settings. I think I've explained that enough. Know how to report posts. That is offensive posts, especially which are directed to you. You should be able to report them. Keep your passwords safe. Passwords are not to be shared by everyone. Even if, I usually say, even when I have visitors around and they ask for my Wi-Fi password, what I usually do is that I usually change it after they go away, because sometimes you never know who you are dealing with. Then never meet anyone in person you've only met online. This one applies especially to our children. Our children meet a lot of people online, strangers. This is known as stranger danger. And they are not very aware of the dangers of meeting people who they have only met online. Then if you see anything online that you don't like or you find upsetting, tell someone you trust. And this also follows that these links that people send on WhatsApp groups. For example, Naivas has a promotion, CG Shell is saying what. Most of those links are usually viruses. You click on that and the virus spreads on your phone, and your phone, it becomes porous, it becomes very easy to hack. Now, where do we access digital content? Now, digital content is teaching and learning material that is stored in the electronic form. For example, it could be stored in the form of text, video clips, audio recordings, photos, etc. You can access digital content from the cloud sources. Cloud sources include the Kenya Education Cloud, KBC English Service for radio broadcasts, Edu Channel run by KICD for lessons, KICD digital content. Then we have others, like for example, we have YouTube. In our school and many other schools, we also have the Zeraki Learning. Creating digital content. Now, as a teacher, you are encouraged to make your own digital content using the following tools. Like these slides that we are using, I made them on Office 365. I made them in the form of a PowerPoint. And then now I'm using the Google Slides, because the Zoom, I've realized I am only able to access the Google Drive. So I'm getting them from my Google Drive, which now has converted them to Google Slides, which is the equivalent of the PowerPoint presentations on Microsoft. And as a teacher, you can make your own digital content using the following tools. You can use a smartphone to take photos of interest or record videos, or even download content. Uploading content on YouTube. You can use podcasts. You can use Office 365. So your TSC email usually allows you to access the premium Microsoft Word, Excel sheets, PowerPoint, Teams, and so many others. Then we have a Google account. By the way, if you don't have a Google account, you should open one, because the Google account allows you access to Google Documents for typing. Like me, I usually type my exams on Google Documents. And the beauty of it is that I don't have to worry about saving those documents. They just automatically save themselves in the cloud. Then we have Google Slides, the equivalent of PowerPoint. We have Google Sites. For example, you need Google Sites to make a portfolio. Those of you who have done the TSC introductory module, you are required to make a portfolio. So you go to the Google Sites to make the portfolio. We have Google Forms to collect information or request for feedback. Like now I'm going to give you, I'm going to send a Google form to our teachers group, our teachers WhatsApp group to request for feedback, and we have many others. As far as creating digital content, there are so many ways you can create digital content. Now we have pedagogies for remote learning. These are the teaching methodologies for remote learning. There are mainly three. We have synchronous, asynchronous, and blended learning. What we are doing now is asynchronous learning. Why is it asynchronous? It is because I recorded the material, and then I send the material to our WhatsApp group. You are going to access the material at different times. So the teacher and the learner are not in the same location. The learners are not accessing the material at the same time. Then we have synchronous. If I had asked you to join an online meeting at a certain time, then it means that I, the teacher, would be online. You, the learner, would also be online. That is synchronous. Then we have a blend of the two. That is a combination of the two that we call the blended learning. Now, I want to give a very short presentation on my experience, especially when it comes to remote learning methodology and also online assessment methods. And by that, I'm going to give you a Kahoot. I'm going to send a Kahoot on this remote learning methodologies. I'm going to send it in our group, and you're going to do it. So there are some learners who are engaged online, and I have a WhatsApp group. It's written from 2 Aberdeen and 2 Longonot, but they should be now from 3 Aberdeen and 3 Longonot. So what I usually do is that I usually send them Kahoots. Like here you have been assigned a Kahoot called Halogen. So I send a link. So they're supposed to go through that Kahoot. And then after going through that Kahoot, I will look for a time when they'll do a live challenge. For example, here, hello participants, we have our first biology and physics live challenge today, starting at 8 p.m., plan to be there. So at 8, I send a link to the game. Then after the game, I have the winners. We have Gloria Kwamboka, there's Ikran Yusuf. Those ones were the winners, okay? So in this case, I still have some more Kahoots here, though they are not very clear. Then there's WhatsApp. We have said that one of the ways you can access learners is via WhatsApp. So WhatsApp support for a student. Normally, I usually select a few students and then I give them work. Then they take a picture of that work and they send me the work when it is done. And I usually mark and give them the feedback that they require. So when it comes to online assessment, there are quite a number of methods that you can use for online assessment. Like now, this one is now your Kahoot, remote learning methodologies. This is the Kahoot that I'm going to send to you so that you can do it. And at least in the process of doing it, you can also learn more about Kahoots. So I want to hope that this very short presentation, it ignites something in you to just do something small with remote learning. Just start small with remote learning, and then we can see where we end up. Maybe one day when one day, I don't know. One day, maybe we shall be able to have online learning, especially remote learning, like now when we are at home for the whole school. I hope that will be possible one day. Thank you.